Well, hello and a very good morning to all of you, and I welcome you in the second part on Ode to a Nightingale. And welcome, elective English students and my viewers on YouTube. Uh, this is the English teacher from AMU, Akhlaq Ahmed. Now, in the previous video, I've given you the difficult words from the poem and some explanations as well. In this video, I'll give you the theme and then I'll introduce the poem to you in detail, and then in our class we will discuss it. Okay, so please note down the theme. The poem deals the poem deals with the theme of a feeling of permanence in transience. Transience ये अलग वर्ड है, TRANSIENCE, in transience, permanence in transience, full stop. In Ode to a Nightingale, ये टाइटल जो है बड़े से लिखिएगा. In Ode to a Nightingale, Keats undergoes an intense experience of beauty which enables him to have an ecstatic, ECSTATIC, ecstatic and overpowering feeling of permanence in transience. Transience, full stop. So this is the theme. Now let's try to understand it. First of all, remember a few things about John Keats, or rather, let's read from the book the introduction given to John Keats. So in between I will explain things to you. You see, John Keats, his dates are given here, 1795 to 1821. This means he was only 26 years old when he died. Was one of the greatest of the younger generations of English Romantic poets. So, the younger generation, in fact, consisted of three poets: Keats, Shelley, and Byron. He started his career as an apprentice to a surgeon, but soon gave it up for poetry. His poetic career lasted for only 4 years, but during this short span, he evolved, that is, he developed from an ordinary poet to an exceptionally mature poetic force. Yes, he was not just a poet but a poetic force. In fact, he influenced generations after him. His poetry celebrates beauty, which he considered the ultimate truth. Yes, in fact, he has a certain concept of beauty, and he thinks that the beauty is the ultimate truth. In fact, it is the beauty, the feeling of beauty, that gives him consolation, happiness, and joy. Otherwise, his poetry shows that the world is full of gloom and sorrow. There is that famous line from Keats, which you may have heard: a thing of beauty is joy forever. You know? So we will do that part, that is an extract from a long poem. We have that in our compulsory course, core course for class 12. So hopefully, next session, if we are together, we'll be doing it. So, beauty is portrayed in extremely sensuous images that have been created through beautiful verbal pictures. Sorry, verbal pictures, yes. I gave you the meaning of the word. So, in fact, beauty has been depicted or portrayed with the help of extremely sensuous images, images which appeal to our senses. This means a sense of five senses: sight, sound, ear, taste, and touch. So these images have been created with the help of words, and in fact, they become word pictures. The image of Nightingale's bar in the poem is an apt illustration of the poet's craft in this respect. You see, the whole poem is not prescribed for you. In fact, it's only an abridged version that they have prescribed for you. And some stanzas in between have been scrapped or deleted. So, in between the stanzas which are not meant for our course, in those stanzas he develops an image of Nightingale's bar, the Nightingale's nest, a place covered with greenery, you know, in the tree where the moon is shining, but it's dark because of the shadow of the trees. There are all kinds of flowers and leaves, greenery, etc. So that image of bar is an example of the sensuous imagery. Apart from that as well, we will notice a number of sensuous images in the poem. Now, by this time you know that Keats had a certain concept of beauty. You see, first of all, ode, or first of all, let's understand the theme of the poem. What happens that the life on earth is temporary, temporal or transient. It's first of all temporal, that is short-lived. One day we all have to die. Secondly, it's transient, short-lived as well as changing. One moment we are happy, the other moment we are sad. So the poet, experiences a feeling of permanence in transience. यानी परमानेंट तो हम हेवन में होंगे ना इस लाइफ के बाद, मगर पोएट को एक लम्हे के लिए परमानेंस का एहसास होता है ट्रांजिएंट होते हुए. ये थीम है. अब ये कैसे होता है? ये ऐसे होता है कि ओड टू नाइटिंगेल में पोएट को ब्यूटी का एक इंटेंस एक्सपीरियंस होता है, और उस ब्यूटी के एक्सपीरियंस की वजह से उसे क्या होता है, एक फीलिंग जनरेट होती है जो एक्सटैटिक होती है, एक्सट्रीम जॉय और ओवरपावरिंग. उसको यानी ओवरपावरिंग पूरी तरह से उसको कंट्रोल कर लेती है. तो ये फीलिंग जो है, ये है फीलिंग ऑफ परमानेंस इन ट्रांजिएंस. ये दिस इज बिकॉज ऑफ ब्यूटी. अच्छा, अब ये हो गया. नाउ व्हाट हैपन्स इन ओड टू अ नाइटिंगेल, Keats imagines that he hears the song of nightingale. यानी ये इमेजिन करते हैं कि उन्होंने नाइटिंगेल की आवाज़ सुनी है और वो उन्हें बहुत अट्रैक्टिव लगती है, बहुत ही मेलोडियस लगती है. उससे इनके ऊपर एक कैफियत तारी होती है. It plunges him in a state of ecstatic joy. It plunges him in a state of reverie, ecstasy. वो एक्सटेसी की कंडीशन में आ जाता है पोएट जो है. नाउ what he does is that he evokes the feeling of uh, wine, sorry, the image of wine, to communicate that condition of ecstasy. उसकी वो बिल्कुल एक मस्त हो जाता है और उस मस्ती को कम्युनिकेट करने के लिए वाइन की इमेज को इसने इवोक किया है. इसीलिए उसने इस तरह की बातें की हैं कि सेंसेस एक्सट्रीम जॉय पे आ जाते हैं, हार्ट भी एक करता है, उसे ऐसा लगता है जैसे उसने वाइन पी ली हो, उस पर नशा सा तारी हो गया है ब्यूटी का. तो इस वाइन की इमेज को उसने इवोक किया है. नाउ देन he wishes that he could um, you know um, he could drink wine and escape from this world to the world of Nightingale. And this world is full of suffering, disease, all kinds of frustrations, and here in fact he personifies beauty. We'll come to this later. So the world is full of suffering, and there are various unpleasant aspects of human condition, such as disease, frustration, fever, fret, and ugliness, suffering, all sorts of suffering. The poet wants to escape from all this and go into the world of Nightingale. The poet suggests that in fact physical beauty is personified, and the poet presents physical beauty as a beautiful woman. So the beautiful woman cannot afford to cast her lustrous eyes, her shining eyes on this world. That is, the physical beauty has no place in this world, is out of place because it's so ugly. And similarly, the young lovers do not really get a chance to satisfy themselves with physical beauty. They admire the beautiful eyes only for a short time, because otherwise either they die or the physical beauty declines. So it's short-lived. So this aspect of physical beauty and physical love is highlighted, but please remember that genuine beauty is presented as being immortal. Towards the last few stanzas, in the last few stanzas, he says that the bird is immortal. For Keats, Nightingale is a symbol of beauty. Nightingale and its song is a symbol of genuine beauty. And he was even thinking of poetry, poetry has a certain permanence. And he proves that the bird has consoled each and every one right from time immemorial, up to the present day. Its song has remained the same. It hasn't become any different from what it was in the beginning. Whereas हम human beings जो हैं, हम एक से नहीं रहते, हम change होते रहते हैं. We are children, we grow young, we grow old and die. Even in the youth, even when we are young, we are victimized by diseases, frustrations and all that. It doesn't happen with the nightingale. So nightingale is called an immortal bird. That is why I told you, because he becomes one with the nightingale and his song and its song, he becomes one and experiences the kind of joy that nightingale has, the kind of beauty that nightingale song has. और उस beauty को experience करने में, उस song को experience करते वक्त उन्हें permanence का एक लम्हे के लिए एहसास होता है. एक लम्हे ऐसा लगता है जैसे वो अमर हो गए हों. तो अमर होने में हमें extreme joy मिलता है, because we will get the extreme joy in heaven. So the poet, proves that the bird is immortal, And finally, what happens is that the poet utters the word forlorn, that is, oh, loneliness. As he says loneliness, he comes back from his reverie, comes back from his imagination to reality. So, he's tossed back to reality and he wonders whether he was dreaming or whether um, it was his vision of what. For a moment, he was as if he was transported to some other world. एक लम्हे के लिए उसे ऐसा लगता है जैसे वो यहाँ था ही नहीं, कहीं और था. So the poem also presents the elusive nature of happiness. That is, happiness is short-lived. The poet's own experience shows that happiness is short-lived. क्योंकि एक लम्हे हम एक हैप्पीनेस को एक्सपीरियंस करते हैं और हैप्पीनेस कहाँ मिलेगी हमें पता भी नहीं, कैसी है, व्हाट, how to get happiness, how to be happy. One moment we are happy, the other moment we are not. When we are young and beautiful, we think we are happy, but very soon we realize that the beauty or the handsomeness has gone, or that we suffer from one disease or the other, or there are other worries and cares of life and the happiness is gone. तो ये हैप्पीनेस जो है वो इस एल्यूसिव नेचर को पोएम ने कैप्चर किया है. पोएट का अपना एक्सपीरियंस. He has a feel of permanence, but only for a moment, and then he is tossed back to reality. तो अगर पॉजिटिव सेंस में देखें तो यही एक एक्सपीरियंस जो है वो पूरी लाइफ के लिए काफ़ी है. लेकिन it shows that even if you get joy, this joy is not lasting. That's the one great harsh truth of life. So Keats के यहाँ, in Keats's poetry you find coexistence of pain and pleasure. यानी sadness and happiness एक साथ हैं. इसलिए पोएम में इस तरह की इमेजेस हैं. My heart aches and drowsy numbness pains. एक तरफ joy भी है, एक तरफ pain भी है. So it is difficult to capture happiness. It comes and it goes away. जैसे कि मैंने आपको अभी बताया कि physical beauty, there is physical beauty for a short time, and we do not really know whether our happiness will continue to exist or not. And we are very often deceived by happiness. We think that we'll continue to be happy, but it doesn't happen. Very often we become sad as well. So one moment happiness, one moment sadness. This aspect is presented in the poem. Also, the poet has juxtaposed, that is put together, the sets of opposites like numbness, pains. अगर numb हो गया है तो फिर pain कैसे करेगा? But I gave you the example, of waking dream. जागते हुए dream कैसे दिखेगा आदमी? Daydreaming. This figure of speech is called a paradox. In a paradox, two opposites are put together. Seemingly, they appear to be absurd, but at a closer examination, a deeper meaning is discovered. Like in a portrait of a lady, you may have read, she had never been pretty, but she was always beautiful. तो ये उल्टे हो गए ना स्टेटमेंट एक दूसरे के. तो मतलब she had never been physically pretty, but she was always spiritually beautiful. ये सेंस निकलता है. तो इसी तरह से हमारी पोएम में waking dream, it was a kind of a vision, it was a kind of an experience. Numbness pains, जैसा कि आपको मिसाल दी कि आप बर्फ पे, आइस पे उंगली रखें तो नम हो जाती है, सुन हो जाती है, मगर उसकी कोल्डनेस आपको फिर भी फील होती है. तो ये हो सकता है. Sometimes we cry out of joy. So tears and joy together, it may happen, it make a sense. So sensuousness, there is sensuousness in the poem. इसको sensuousness कहते हैं. When the various images appeal to our senses, and in Keats, sensuousness is meaningful. मतलब it's not sensuousness for sensuousness sake. ऐसा नहीं है कि images वो create कर रहा है for imagery sake. नहीं. He creates meaning by appealing to our senses. and there are images which specially appeal to our sight, sound, and taste. So, you see, such imagery has been used. Now, the poet addresses Nightingale and talks to the bird throughout the poem. You see, this kind of poem is called an ode. Ode is a kind of poem like you have a sonnet, a lyric, जैसे हमने sonnet पढ़ा है, lyric पढ़ा है, अभी monologue पढ़ा है, तो इसी तरह से ode होती है. In an ode, usually the poet addresses somebody, or ode celebrates an occasion or a person. So there are types of odes, for example, Horatian ode, Pindaric ode. तो ये रोमांटिक पोइट्स जो थे, इन्होंने किसी रूल्स को, नियम को तो फॉलो नहीं किया है. The strict rules of writing poetry have not been followed by the romantics. But this poem, this ode, in this ode, there are 10 line stanzas, and the poet has used a pentameter. And the rhyme scheme in each stanza is more or less uniform. तो वो राइम स्कीम जो है वो अगर हम पोएम में जाके देखें तो जैसे कि वर्ड है पेन्स, ड्रंक, ड्रेन्स, संक यानी ए बी, लॉट, हैप्पीनेस, ट्रीज, प्लॉट, फिर ये नंबरलेस और ईज. तो ये ऑलमोस्ट जो है वो कंसिस्टेंट हैं, ए बी और लास्ट में सी या डी इस तरह का पैटर्न है. ये आप लोगों को मैं बता चुका हूँ, हाउ टू वर्क आउट द राइम स्कीम, ये आप कर सकते हैं. तो you know 10 line stanzas in which pentameter has been used. Pentameter यानी कि जिसमें 5 feet होते हैं. 1 फुट जो है पोइट्री में 2 syllables के बराबर होता है. तो इसका मतलब पेंटामीटर यानी 10 syllables की एक लाइन है. syllable मैं आपको बता दूं, one syllable has one vowel sound. Vowel sound और vowel letter में फ़र्क होता है. Vowel sound को पहचानने का तरीका ये है कि आप उसे बोलें, अगर आपकी टंग या टंग जो है वो टीथ या पैलेट से टच नहीं करती तो वो vowel sound है, जैसे अ, ई, ऊ, ओ. और अगर टंग जो है वो टच कर रही है पैलेट से या टीथ से या उसके करीब आ रही है तो दैट इज़ अ कॉन्सोनेंट साउंड, लाइक ट, प, क, ख. बहुत सारे वर्ड्स हैं जिसमें फॉर एग्जाम्पल हाउस, HOUSE, 3 वाउल लेटर्स हैं मगर साउंड एक ही है. हाउस, आउ, इसको डिप्थोंग बोलते हैं. वो वाउल साउंड जो सेपरेट ना की जा सके, 2 वाउल साउंड जब मिक्स होती हैं. एनीवे, बात दरअसल बताने की ये कि 2 सिलेबल्स हैं एक फुट में, और अगर ये आयम्बिक पेंटामीटर हो तो फर्स्ट सिलेबल अनस्ट्रेस्ड होगा और सेकंड स्ट्रेस्ड होगा, लेकिन ये आयम्बिक नहीं है, इट्स ओनली अ पेंटामीटर. सो you see, these are some of the important aspects of Ode to a Nightingale. The poet imagines. अच्छा, अब ये है कि when the poem opens, the poet is already in the company of Nightingale, and he feels extreme joy that we will see actually when we analyze the poem. Extreme joy. अब वो joy कैसे आता है, क्या होता है उसकी, there are details. But a thing of beauty is joy forever. So याद रखिए कि physical beauty perishable है, thing of beauty भी perish हो सकती है, but the joy, the feeling that it creates is immortal. जैसे कीट्स को ये एक्सपीरियंस हुआ ब्यूटी का, तो ये तो ठीक है कि वो अपनी दुनिया में वापस आ गया, लेकिन अब ये एक्सपीरियंस उसके साथ हमेशा रहेगा। जब तक वो रहेगा तब तक कि वो फीलिंग उसको, हैप्पीनेस की वो फीलिंग उसके साथ रहेगी। सो यू नो, ब्यूटी हैज a feel of permanence in it, feeling of beauty and genuine beauty. And physical beauty may perish. When he says that the bird is immortal, what he means is that the song of the bird and the beauty of the song of the bird is immortal. The beauty and the song has remained the same. Otherwise, ऐसे तो बीसियों नाइटिंगेल्स आई और गई होंगी, वो एक अलग मतलब है। वो he is not referring to that. He is referring to the beauty of the song and the bird, which is immortal. That beauty is contrasted with the human beings, with the suffering of the human beings. Human beings are mortal, of course, and their life, the happiness that they experience is mortal, short-lived, elusive, थोड़े से वक्त के लिए होती है. Difficult to understand the nature of happiness on this earth, but the beauty of the bird, the happiness that it gives, that happiness is in a way immortal, because that song, that beauty has remained the same uh, since time immemorial. So that is the idea. So when the poem, ये बात बहुत ही important है कि जब poem open होती है तो he is in the company of the bird, he is one with the bird, and he experiences the song, his song and the beauty of the song, and he is in a state of ecstasy, is in a state of extreme joy. And in order to communicate that, he says that he may drink and leave away this world, forget this world for a while, and then experience extreme joy with the bird. The bird is immortal because it has been consoling people right from day one till now. But all of a sudden, as he is talking to the bird, all of a sudden he utters the word forlorn, and as he utters that word, his dream और his reverie, extreme joy, जो भी उससे कैफियत तारी हुई थी वो उससे बाहर आ जाता है और उसे हकीकत का एहसास हो जाता है, और उसके इमेजिनेशन में जो सॉन्ग उसे बर्ड का क्लियरली सुनाई दे रहा था वो उसे अब ऐसा लगता है जैसे दूर जाता चला जा रहा है पहाड़ों पे, वैलीज में, और फिर धीरे धीरे sorry. So you see, उसे ऐसा एहसास होता है जैसे कि वो सॉन्ग दूर जाता चला जा रहा है. एक्चुअली सॉन्ग दूर नहीं जाता. He is actually coming back to reality. For a while he has been in a state of trance. उस पे वज्द की कैफियत तारी हो जाती है, जैसे सूफिया पे वज्द तारी हो जाता था. वो जब मिसाल के तौर पे कव्वाली सुनते थे तो किसी दुनिया में चले जाते थे, झूमने लगते थे, मस्त हो जाते थे. उस दौरान अगर उन्हें कोई तकलीफ भी पहुंच जाए तो तकलीफ का एहसास नहीं होता था उन्हें, जैसे शराबी होता है. इसी फीलिंग को कम्युनिकेट करने के लिए उसने शराब की इमेज, ड्रिंकिंग की इमेज, वाइन की इमेज को इवोक किया है कि आई मे ड्रिंक द वाइन एंड गो विद द बर्ड एंड अनसीन एंड एक्सपीरियंस दैट हैप्पीनेस. बाद में उसने पोएम में कहा है कि ही विल फ्लाई विद द बर्ड विद द विंग्स ऑफ पोएजी, यानी विद हिज इमेजिनेशन. पोएजी कहते हैं पोएट्री को, तो वो पार्ट हमारे कोर्स में नहीं है. एनीवे, इसीलिए वाइन की इमेज इवोक की है. तो वो एक तरह के ट्रांस में था, और उसका वो ट्रांस कह लीजिए, ड्रीम कह लीजिए, विजन कह लीजिए, जो भी कुछ था वो कंडीशन अचानक टूट जाती है, एंड ही कम्स बैक टू रियलिटी. And at the end of the poem, he wonders whether he is awake or asleep. He doesn't know what it was. Perhaps it was a strange experience that he had, but in any case, this experience was full of mystery, but full of joy, full of happiness. इसी में उसे लगता है, जब बर्ड का सॉन्ग उससे दूर होता जाता है तो वो उसे प्लेंटिव एंथम कहता है, सैड सॉन्ग. Now it is becoming sad because He is coming back to reality, not because the song is sad, but because he is coming back to reality and he is experiencing sadness. So this sadness is more because of the losing that condition or that state of ecstasy which he experienced. इसको खोने की वजह से ये सॉन्ग उसे सैड लगने लगता है. Otherwise the song is not sad. um, um, you know um, it's sad because he is losing it. So thy sad anthem is the phrase that he uses. So at this note the poem ends. So in a way I've given you a complete introduction to the poem and a brief summary, and I've talked of the important aspects of the poem. So now all that is left is to explain it um, line to line, which we shall do later on, hopefully in our class. So, you know, that's it then in this video. See you later. Thanks a lot.
Home button. Stop recording video button.